Now, how many are you going to try and find a great spot to hunt for opening day in the morning? And I talk about hunting morning all the time. I talk about that although morning hunts for me only account for about 15% of my sits, 10% some years, they account for about 70% of my mature bucks. And there's a reason for that. You know, the morning time it's cooler. Bucks traditionally, even scientific studies show that deer will move about 3 times more in the morning hours than they do the afternoon hours, especially bucks, during the daylight. And so when it's cool, it's fresh, a lot of other people aren't hunting. I think that mature bucks actually can figure out there's a lot more people in the afternoon than there are the morning. Imagine if they go back to a bedding area every single morning and they never see anybody, ever. So they're kind of sitting ducks at that time. However, during the early season, let's say it's a real warm morning, 90 degrees, they're probably already back there. So if you're hunting some type of bedding area in the morning, it can really be a bad situation where you're going in and spooking a deer that you could otherwise have a lot better chance at in the afternoon. Love my morning sits during the pre-rut, rut, post-rut, second rut, opening day of gun season. That's what accounts for all those great bucks during the morning hours. But there's really good opportunity in the early season, and I want to talk about the ingredients that you need for that to help you really get on the right track for taking a morning tree stand location this season. And one of the things you want to really look at is, you can notice right here, we are not in a high quality food source area. Yes, we have acorns around, we have red oak and white oak around here. They're dropping some acorns, but those are everywhere. You know, that's more of a complement to good browse. We have bedding areas cut around here, a lot of bedding areas cut this fall in this location. Even if Dylan takes a look downhill there, you can see the sunlight starting to come in and all the vegetation, because we've cut bedding area all the way that way for about 250 yards around the corner, down in this entire bottom, up the sides on both sides. So we've cut a lot of bedding areas throughout the years through here, and so we're being rewarded that with a lot of deer movement. But this is not a food plot. If you look up top here, where the stand location is, it's right up above me. We have a nice family tradition hang-on set up right up there with a 20-foot ladder stick. That's open woods. So we're not coming into a great food plot. We're not coming into a bait pile. We're not even coming into the edge of a clear-cut area on public land where deer might be feeding, or a swamp edge, or traditional nice white acorn flat where there's a lot of deer feeding because it's the only thing in this big open hardwood setting. We have good browse. We have something other than just a big open hardwood setting. The bottom line is we're not in a big food plot. A lot of people go in, they can't hunt, they can't wait to hunt their favorite food plot, their favorite bait pile, food source, apple tree, whatever it might be. You spook that deer out when you go in the morning, because they're in a transition area between where they feed at night and going back to their bedding areas. You spook them out. Not only do you ruin that stand for a morning hunt in the future, but you destroy that afternoon, evening hunt where those deer are predictably moving to a certain food source every single afternoon. So that's the first thing. You want to be well away from a high quality food source you'd typically hunt in the afternoon. Now the second ingredient, I don't want to come right into an area where deer are bedding. Now we have deer that could be bedding 50 yards that way, 60 yards, 70 yards, 200 yards around the corner, 250 yards around the corner here, but we're on the edge of this open hardwood setting. So yeah, I could imagine some bucks coming through here to go to a bedding area. And that happens all the time. We'll check them out right on this mock scrape to the right of Dylan. It's right here. This is a perfect spot. This mock scrape is awesome. You can see this old 2-track. It's something we can't ride a machine on because it's washed out over here, but this makes great for deer traffic right through here. So we have the mock scrape, we have the stand location right up there. We have access through non-food area, open switchgrass. So we're just coming into the edge of bedding, but we're not going anywhere near where if we come in the morning and there's a deer bedded in one of these bedding areas down here that we've created and all the bedding opportunity, all that habitat and thick regen, we're not going to spook them out. We can come down a really low impact area. So we're not coming into a big giant food source. We're coming into the edge of bedding or a little bit away from bedding. We have bedding on that point, bedding in that draw over there. Really key that you're coming into an area where they're not bedding because they might already be there in the early season. And then finally, number 3, we're not walking through a big food source or an area where you expect to be, like a cluster of apple trees, a small hunting plot, the edge of an ag field. We're simply just walking into the side over here. We're walking in through solid switchgrass up top where we don't expect deer to bed. They don't like bedding in solid switchgrass. They have to have that browse component. This is the browse component right down here. We're actually, when we get into that stand, we're probably 70 to 80 yards into the woods. So we're coming in a little ways, but we're right at this edge where we expect to see deer movement. And those are the three variables you need. Not on a major food source. You're not sitting in an area where you could expect to potentially spook deer out of when you come in because they're already bedded in there. We're coming through an area where we're not coming through major food or bedding, of course, but we don't expect to see deer there in the early morning. It's not a transition area. So I keep coming up with more points in this video, and there's one that's in my head I'm trying to remember. But really, that number 4th point we're talking about is we come into this area, we have a safe place to blow our scent into. We're not going through a deer access area. We're not going through food. We're not going through bedding, and that affords us the opportunity to blow our scent back into our approach area. So we're hunting scent free. And then number 5, Dylan brought up a really good one.
Don't hunt this just because you got the day off. Wait for those first morning sits for the perfect weather.
And we've talked about that in videos in the past where what is your opening day? Now maybe the opening day this year is on the 17th of September. I don't really know. But if I'm going to come back into an area like this, if it's going to be 85 degrees in the morning and winds, I'm not going to see much for deer movement. So I don't even want to risk spooking anything in this area, even though it's a pretty low impact hunt. I want to actually come into an area where I feel I have a great chance because of the weather. Again, we use HuntCast through HuntWise. That's the algorithm for weather hunting that I put together. The bottom line is I'm looking for major temperature drop. It doesn't matter, if it's early season and the temperature is unseasonably warm. Let's say it just drops back to average. Let's say it's 12 degrees. Let's say our average in September is 72 degrees for daytime highs, and it's 85. Well, if I see 3 days, 2 days, 4 days in advance, it's going to be back down to 72. That major temperature drop was caused by some sort of extreme weather, winds, rains, thunderstorms, lightning. It suppresses deer back in their bedding areas. They don't get up an opportunity to feed. And so my opening day, a lot of times to come into a morning hunt like this, is when the weather's decent. If you try to create that flexibility for yourself, you'll be rewarded for it. And then finally, I'm really looking at, not only not blowing my scent into an area, we have good approach. We're coming into an area in a location that I've waited for the weather to cool down so that the spot can heat up. We're coming into the edge of bedding, but not in the bedding enough to where we're spooking deer. We're coming through, of course, a deerless area, but also I want to see that long transition of food area. And that's a location where deer can feed. They can pick up a couple of acorns here and there on the way back to their beds in the morning. It slows them down a little bit. So I'm coming into an area on the side where a buck could be coming from our food sources around our house 400 yards away. They're transitioning in here. They're feeding on some acorns. They're going back to bed. And they have that long transition in movement. So there's some factors that I'm looking for hunting that morning stand in the early season. Do you take a chance? Ultimately, we have a trail camera right here watching this mock scrape. It'll tell us what bucks we're seeing here. But ultimately, I'm looking at several factors to determine if I'm even going to come in and hunt in the morning, because it is a risky proposition in the early season. Some great opportunities. Now, totally different because we're trying to manage our pressure and manage the deer hunt on a small parcel here. Totally different if you're hunting on public land, because a lot of times you have to beat others to the punch. You might be crossing through wetlands, getting into an island, waiting for the deer to come back to you, to a super secluded, secretive spot. Those deer might be there for 2 weeks. They're gone to another spot because the food sources are changing. Completely different on private land where you have to manage your pressure in that location. We're stuck here because we love hunting this private land and managing it. So you have to be very careful in the early season, no matter what you do. All season long, you hunt the same. Try to keep from spooking the deer. And when it comes to taking a morning sit in the early season, especially on opening day, make sure you have these factors and variables and ingredients working for you and not against you when you go to the stand. And you'll have a great opportunity, a nice buck, maybe on opening day in the morning this season. Now, I appreciate you guys watching the YouTube channel, but I don't know if everyone knows everything that we have to offer, whether it's on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, our website, our WHS Wildlife Blends, our seed company. Also, Instagram you can check out. I'm very active on Instagram, putting strategies on there, photos of what we do every day. Much more active there than Facebook. But our seed, web classes, books, clients, articles. I have over 600 articles on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, everything whitetail strategy. Of course, we have hats on there, and then make sure to check us out on Instagram again. But lots of stuff to offer. We're always coming out with new things, and this isn't the end of it. We have more things coming soon. Make sure to check us out.